Hey there, and welcome to the Hey Kayla podcast, your go-to for all things confidence, communication, and becoming your fave self. It is a snowy, windy, very wintry end of March day here, which is perfect for cozying up with an entire pot of coffee in the cozies, recording a podcast. And new episodes, I always try to get them out on Fridays, but I usually record them on Thursdays. You know, do all the editing, the scheduling thing, get ready for the show to go like live on Friday a.m. But I knew today would end up being one of those snow days. So I put off recording until today, and I'm doing this thing in real time. And if you don't know my background, I was a TV and radio personality and anchor for almost 20 years before I started my own public speaking and confidence coaching business. And my specialty way back when was being a weather specialist. And the nerd that I still am, I've been logging into some old programs and models that I still have access to. And I've been tracking the storm that we're getting. So I knew this would definitely be a snow day. Again, where I could just cuddle up, do some podcasting, do some writing, do a whole lot of reading. So if you are listening to this in real time and you're in Manitoba or even in southern Saskatchewan, even in southern Alberta, I hope you're staying safe and warm and cozy. And that's actually what led to the idea for this podcast, how weather was like my thing. And how now, even though this is my third year out of that world, my people still come to me for forecasts and like insider information. And how I still have no less, I kid you not, than probably 10 umbrellas, because that's the gift that people always seemed to give me because I was the weather girl. And this is also something that comes up a lot if you're somebody who's into professional development or self-development, spirituality, or you're building a brand. And that's this pressure we feel to have a thing, like a whole thing, a niche, an aesthetic, a really clearly defined personality. And you may know what I'm talking about here. The fitness girl, the spiritual woo-woo girl, you know, or the one who runs marathons or only eats organic. Or even when I was growing up, it was friends' moms who had kitchens themed entirely around apples or roosters, like apples and roosters. That was like the big thing. And I say this with so much love because I've been her, like, right? I've been the girl with the thing. I think we all have. When I was younger, my thing was I played ringette, and then I started playing hockey. Then again, I became the weather girl on TV, and then suddenly everybody associated me with umbrellas. Like, I cannot tell you how many of these things I've been given in my life, like souvenirs, gifts. People saw me as the weather girl, right? And so they thought that that's who I was. And I'm so grateful. Like, let me be clear. I loved those chapters. There's nothing wrong with any of those identities. They were all parts of me. But the problem is that when we start thinking that those things are who we are, that's when we get stuck in the mud. We confuse the role that we play or the job that we have or the hobby that we love with our personality. We get so wrapped up in being the one who does yoga, right? The yogi, or who makes cupcakes. Remember when cupcakes got huge? Or like donuts got huge, like they've all had their moment, or advocates for dog rescues. Love that. But that sometimes becomes people's whole personalities, which again, nothing wrong with that. But I don't want you to start to forget who you are beyond the label, because labels can be fun. They can be comforting. They're cute, right? The cupcake girl, dog rescue girl, like those are cute. They're even community building, especially with dog rescue, right? Or vegans. I love that for us. You do build community when you're around like-minded people. Even the entrepreneur boss babe label, right? I feel like that's one that I can kind of slip into now if I'm not careful, because while they're comforting again and cute and we love the community side of it, they can also become cages. And that's where I think we need to be a little bit more aware of what's going on. And there was this commercial, I think it's probably back in the 90s, maybe the late 80s. I don't know if you remember it, but the tagline was like, nobody's good at everything, but everybody's good at something. What's your thing? You know, like one kid was doing judo. Another kid was like into like magic, and like this sibling they were sawing in half was like, Mom, Johnny cut me in half again. Like that commercial. Another one was playing a recorder. It was, I think it was well-intentioned, but then the message was basically like, you don't have to be good at everything, but everybody's good at something. Again, it sounded nice in theory, but I grew up hating that commercial because it always made me feel like I had to have one thing, that I had to figure it out, that if I didn't have a defined talent or passion, that then something was wrong with me. And the problem I had with this commercial was back when I was a kid, I wasn't great at anything, And even now, like, I don't think I'm great at one thing. I'm good at several things. So even as a kid, I felt that pressure, and that commercial just pushes me over the edge, like even as an adult now. And I do think a lot of us carry that energy, right? That pressure to define ourselves, to find our thing, our one purpose, our brand. You know, especially in a world where branding is everywhere. You've got our Insta bios, you know, TikTok niches, elevator pitches. And I work with people, yes, on their elevator pitches 100%. But it is almost like we're constantly being asked to summarize ourselves into one sentence, like one nice little sentence. And the truth is, like, you're not your niche. You're not your job title. You're not the theme of your kitchen. You're not the animal you rescue or the smoothie you make every morning. Like, you are you, and you're allowed to evolve. You know, maybe you used to be super into fitness and now you're not. That doesn't mean you've lost yourself. Maybe you used to be the arts and crafts girl and now you're into astrology and sound baths. Cool. Like, let it shift. Let yourself expand. Your purpose, your soul isn't linear. It's not a bullet point. You are so multifaceted, and that's what makes you you. That's what makes you magnetic. And if you're currently sitting in that uncomfortable space of, but I don't know what my thing is, and it is hella uncomfortable, let me tell you. Or you're thinking like, I don't know what I'm supposed to be doing. I don't know what my brand is. I want you to just take a deep breath, because you don't have to have a perfectly packaged personality. You don't need to niche yourself into a box just to feel like you matter. You matter because you're you, like you're the vibe, you're the energy, and you're allowed to love a million different things and change your mind and be inconsistent and curious and messy and soft and wild and still be you. Your brand, if you have one, and everybody has one. I think your brand is just how you live your life. It gets to be built around you. It should be you, right? Around your essence, how you speak, how you move, how you light up when you talk about something that matters to you. That's what people are connecting with. It's not the cupcakes or the yoga poses or the roosters on your dish towels. It's you. Let those things be fun. Yes, let them be an expression, but don't let them be the definition. That's why I always preach about becoming your favorite version of yourself. That's really just the version of you who loves themselves, loves what they're doing, and who is fully showing up in that no matter what season of life you're in. Your fave self is going to change and evolve as you change and evolve. And here's the thing. Your identity isn't static. When we force ourselves to pick one version and stick to it forever, we start to feel disconnected. We start to feel trapped by a version of ourselves we outgrew. We feel like we can't pivot or change because what will people think? And this is something when I work with clients on becoming their favorite versions of themselves, that's at the point where they come to me, is when they feel stuck or stagnant and nothing's wrong. Like oftentimes nothing's wrong. They don't know what it is though. They just have this feeling, and it's that disconnect. Because growth is natural, evolving is healthy. And the magic part of being human is that we do get to change. So if you're in a season of figuring it out, or if you're craving more clarity around your purpose or your path, like I want this episode to be your permission slip to stop pressuring yourself to have a damn thing. For me, no matter what season of life or job or location I'm living in, I've just always wanted to make people feel comfortable and feel seen. I did that when I was a kid by being a good teammate. I didn't know it at the time, but looking back, yes, I can connect the dots, right? I did that when I was on TV and radio, making guests and interviewees feel comfortable and welcomed. I do that at the arena when I'm hosting games. Like my favorite producer told me, that's my living room. I'm there to make people feel welcomed and comfortable and enjoy the game. I do that in my coaching, with my podcast, with my work. And I sure as hell do that in my daily life. I'm at the grocery store. I'm at networking events. It's the way I care for and treat other people. That's not my thing. That's who I am. That's me. So let your thing be you. Let your life be the experiment. Try stuff. Drop stuff. That's my favorite thing. Drop stuff. Follow the things that make you feel lit up. And if people don't get it, like that's okay. It's not for them to get. It's for you to live. You don't need a niche to be needed, right? You don't need a title to take up space. You don't need a label to be lovable. You are your thing, your energy, your expression, your magic. So the next time you feel like you need to figure it all out and have a thing, remember, you're already doing it. You're already you. And that's more than enough. Hell, what if you're all the things? You don't need a thing. You are all the things. Okay. I have to go pour another cup of coffee. I have to definitely go shovel some more snow. So I hope this pep talk helped you out. Until next time, I hope you have the best week. Stay safe and cozy if you're in the snow. And I love you. Bye.